everyone. Welcome to this bonus meeting of the USCL Research Club. This is recorded for your convenience, and we're so lucky to have folks from the Arras Foundation today speaking about the summer internship opportunity and kind of sharing some information about that and what you need to know. That application deadline is coming up, and we know many of you would be great candidates for this program. So I'm going to turn this over to Elizabeth and Katie to share some information with us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Easley. We're just delighted to be here with the Research Club today. As you mentioned, we're with the Arras Foundation, and I'm really happy to have Katie here with me. Both of us are former interns from this experience. In my role as Community Investment Officer, I work very closely in our youth development space. So that includes our summer internship program, as well as our education, grant line, and research in that arena. But Katie here is the research expert here at the foundation. So Katie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So hi, everybody. My name is Katie Arras, and I'm the Senior Research Fellow here at the Arras Foundation. I'm a recent graduate of USCL through the Palmetto College program, so excited to be able to talk at my alum campus about this awesome opportunity.
All right, thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
With our, those slides look kind of funky. We'll make sure that you have a copy of this moving forward, but this is our North Star at the organization. This is our guiding light through all of our work. So I won't read it to you because you all can read, but the biggest thing that is in this North Star is just where all people have the opportunity to reach their full potential. And this goes for people in the community now and people who will be in the community later. As a youth development person, it kind of irks my nerves a little bit when people say, young adults are the future, kids are the future, youth are the future. We are the now. So I think it's really important that young people in our area have the opportunity to get involved in the community, whether you choose this to be a career or not. It's a great experience, but we'll continue on. At the foundation, we have 3 strategic pillars. The first one being supporting and building a healthy community. As a Health Legacy Foundation, our beginnings were because of a hospital sale here in Lancaster about 25 years ago. So health and wellness is our bread and butter. That's what we strive for. And at the foundation, we define health in a broad and holistic way. Our second pillar is helping youth successfully transition to adulthood. So helping youth have real life work experiences and in providing opportunities for them to contribute in their communities in meaningful ways. And our third pillar is elevating philanthropy. And this is done in lots of different ways, but probably one of our most well-known maybe elements of elevating philanthropy is our Give Local initiative, which is a 24-hour crowdfunding day of giving that benefits over 70 nonprofit organizations in our region. So we are a philanthropy, and we are a funder here in Lancaster County, but we also service the communities of Fort Lawn and Great Falls and Chester. So our summer internship experience is a part of our strategic initiatives here at the foundation. So on your screen, you'll see lots of students who have participated in our program since 2016. But the goal of the internship experience is for interns to join with community partners to learn and help our community thrive. Interns certainly have a lot to give to the community with their expertise, knowledge, skill sets, but also it's a great opportunity to learn from individuals within our area who work in the nonprofit sector, business sector, and beyond. So there's a lot of opportunities here to have fun because we like to do that, but also to learn and grow. Just as a quick recap from our program, since 2016, we've had 60 interns come through, which is really hard to believe. This is a 10-week paid program. Throughout COVID, we did have a virtual experience for our interns, but this year we're excited to have our interns in-house for the 10-week period. And as we mentioned earlier, this is the opportunity to expose interns to philanthropy and other real world experiences. Katie, do you have anything to add there? Okay. So some examples of previous work that interns have been a part of includes downtown revitalization efforts. This was a flagship in 2017. And throughout each internship experience. In 2019, interns actually had the opportunity to host charrettes throughout the community which interfaced with the consulting firm MKSK, which is out of Greenville. This group partnered with the city to kind of dream and think about what downtown Lancaster could look like. So our interns had a role in the engagement component of that. So they got to interview residents, share information with residents, and gather input from those individuals to really get their 2 cents on what they think of the plan and what could be improved or changed. Community engagement is a common thread throughout the internship experience each year. Every class has had some exposure to that. But something that we really value with our interns is their engagement with youth, because it's important for youth to talk to other youth, right? They're not going to tell adults the same things that they would tell their peers. So it's important that, we hear from young people and we provide experiences and tools for our interns to have those kind of conversations. This included chalkboard activities, focused conversations, and the like. So research, which may be more, maybe pique the interest of you all, we had interns look at philanthropic best practices, community data and indicators. That's available on our website and other reputable places across the state, region, and nation. We've also had interns help us think through internal programmatic components and other best practices that are happening elsewhere. So there's a lot of research involved, what you say, Katie. Other experiences that interns could expect would include volunteerism and the opportunities to work with community partners. This has looked like placements at nonprofit organizations to get boots on the ground experience with nonprofit leaders. And it could also look like specific projects with nonprofits. A really great example would be our census work with the NAACP in the summer of 2020. Katie's class worked on an extensive social media campaign to help get more responses for the census. In 2021, we had a very strategic partnership with USC Lancaster and had a diversity, equity, and inclusion focused summer. This included individual research where each intern had the opportunity to focus on one DEI focus area that they wanted to learn more about. And also the opportunity to work on a group research paper, which was this huge compilation of best practices across many sectors within the DEI focus area. So that's a lot. It's 2016, and those are just a couple of examples. This past summer, our interns had research focused on community profiles. So actually looking at the neighborhoods and communities within our service area to learn more about the data and how that data is represented in people and vice versa. So learning from those communities, interviewing community members, and learning about the data that complemented those conversations. As I mentioned on the other slide, they also hosted a virtual conversation with young people just to kind of get a better understanding about the impacts of COVID. Because I mean, we may be a few years from the beginning of the pandemic, but we've certainly learned a lot. But I know all of you know that. But we've also encouraged our class last year to look at internal programmatic research. One of the key things they looked at was the Furman College Advising Corps 5-year pilot. We had a research partner at the Raleigh Institute who examined the 5-year pilot, and interns got to look at that data and talk to those evaluators to learn more about their process and their findings. And we also had interns look at our Community Heart and Soul initiative, which is a community engagement program that the foundation supports in various communities within our service area. As with all years, there are professional and leadership development opportunities with interns. This could be attending board meetings, committee meetings, presenting in said meetings, participating in local coalition meetings that may happen during the summer, as well as skill building sessions and lunch and learn opportunities with community leaders. With these assignments that we present to interns, we make sure that we provide the skills and resources available to get the job done. So you all, as interns, could pick up those practices as you're moving about. So why does this matter? We've actually have Katie here to talk about that and her experience as an intern.
Yeah, so definitely. My experience as an intern made me begin to understand the connections with research and overall community health, and how being educated and educating others about the strengths and challenges within our community can help us better solve those problems or better advocate for those issues. And I really will have to say that the research skills that I learned during my time as an intern, I've taken over into my day-to-day job. My day-to-day duties at the foundation are really looking at different types of research like studies, census data, and the local history as well to help educate and guide possible decision making. So I'm your context queen. So over my summer internship, I found out how important those little granular sets of data are, and also the context that goes with them. Because yes, there are numbers, but those numbers are also people. So that was like one of the biggest things that I brought back from my internship experience, and I still do day to day in my job. So that's my 2 cents.
And clearly, you know, we needed someone like Katie on staff just to better understand the context and how all of these things play together. So thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Other interns that we've reached out to get quotes from, and I'm sorry this is so small, but the 4 people you see on your screen, 3 of them actually are in community health, and one of them is in education. So Brianna, who is in the pink shirt, Effie, who's in the blazer, and Katie, who's at the bottom of your screen. So Katie's a nurse. She actually is at Duke doing work there. Effie just started a new position at MUSC Chester, where she works in orthopedics as a PA. So very cool. Brianna is a community health worker with DHEC in Chester. So it's really cool to see these people use their talents and skills to help better their community. And Dre in the bottom right corner, he works at a middle school in Rock Hill. So just really cool to see how their time at the foundation changed their trajectory, or maybe even exposed them to things that they weren't even sure about when they were in college. So those are some of our many many success stories. I would say all of our interns are a success story. So some key things, if you are interested in applying for the summer internship experience, these are the things that we're looking for. So as you're filling out your application, this is like a cheat sheet of things that we are looking for as we're reviewing applications. So we are looking for people who are either from our footprint or connected to it in some way. So this could be, you know, a commuter student from USC Lancaster, or maybe like Ariana, you went to Indian Land High School and you're interested in learning more about the area. We're also looking for people who are self-starters, very motivated. We call those movers and shakers, thinkers and doers. So people who are very passionate and motivated and interested in the work and want to do good in the community. So what makes an awesome intern? We have 7 areas that we're looking for. So we're looking for good attitude. That's a number 1. You know, other skills come later, but attitude is key. Logical reasoning, critical thinking skills, some technical experience. Without Katie, you wouldn't hear anything I was saying today. So technical experience and knowledge, know to, is very important. Good communication, organizational skills, and the desire for personal development, and the, I guess, trying to find a good word, but we see you can collaborate well with people. That's really important as we're building a team, because each internship experience is a cohort. So it's not a one-man woman show. So that's all I have for you guys. This is a QR code to access our application. Our application closes at midnight on Monday, March 6th. So within the application, we ask for a cover letter and resume, 2 letters of recommendation. I'm sure Dr. Easley would be happy to write letters of recommendation, as well as 2 essay responses. Essay is maybe a scary word, but there are 2 prompts, and however many words you need to answer those questions is what we're looking for. So if it takes pages, great. If it takes a paragraph, that's fine too. So I think that's all we have. So thank you.
This was fantastic. I have a couple of questions. I was jotting down some notes while you all were talking, and one of them you all actually answered throughout your presentation, because I was hoping to hear something about the impact of this internship, and you had those great impact statements, plus Katie's experience, so that was fantastic. I have a question about majors, like which majors could apply, and if you could speak to that a little bit.
So we accept all majors. I mean, you saw on my slide, I have a BLS. So one of the other members in my cohort was a nurse and the other one was in finance. And so it can really be anybody who would benefit from the experience. And if anything, it's great for us to have multiple different kinds of majors because it brings in different thought process.
Yeah.
Right.
And 2, just the exposure. I mean, the world of philanthropy is so big. And, you know, I know when I was in college, I didn't know that that was a career path, but in philanthropy, you do have accountants and you have communication directors and you have, you know, researchers. And it's important for interns to have that exposure and to see that their talents can fit in lots of different ways, in lots of different places.
Right. That interdisciplinary collaboration always kind of breeds new ideas and new perspectives, which it sounds like is really a goal of this summer internship. This next question might be a little bit more challenging to answer just because the nature of the question, but especially since it sounds like each summer has a little bit different focus, but is there like a typical day that an intern might experience, or could you describe just maybe a memorable day? Because typical is maybe not the right word. It sounds like there's a lot of things happening, which I think is really exciting. And one of the things that I like about my job is like every day is a little bit different. So there's really no typical day, but is there something maybe like a memorable day that either or both of you could share about your internship experiences?
Do you want to go first?
Do you want to go?
Okay.
So that was a little different since it was virtual. So
So it really depends. That is a great question, Dr. Easley. You know, every day is very different. Maybe a skill set we should add to our intern, you know, what makes an awesome intern is flexibility. You know, as you said, every day it can be very different. You know, maybe one day it's very research heavy and you're kind of tied to your laptop and you're really focused in on data. Or, you know, the next day it could be, it's a community engagement day and we're having a lunch for community partners and you have to go into event planning mode and facilitation mode and taking notes and interacting with people and asking questions. And it just depends on what is happening on that specific day. It really varies. And to Katie's point, you know, Katie, when she was an intern with us, it was a virtual experience. She was a part of our first cohort during COVID, where she was totally remote. And in her experience, I'm sure she'll want to say more. But connecting during that time was very important to me as a manager. So we would have multiple meetings a day on Zoom, like even if it was 10-15 minutes, just to lay eyes on everyone. How are you doing? You know, do you have any questions? And that kind of thing. But what else would you add to that, Katie?
I don't know what else I would add. I mean, other than some of the things that we had done over our time as interns, at least virtually, I think it was a little bit different in the fact that, you know, we still had like volunteer opportunities. They were very limited just because of the, you know, the environment that we were in, but we did have a couple of opportunities to go and volunteer at a couple of grantee partners. But most of our work was very data heavy and research heavy, especially with helping the NAACP with that census push out and educating others on how important the census was to complete and what the census affects in the long run. So that's, I guess shows two sides of the coin. You have the in-person very much go, 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 and then you know, the virtual where it's data heavy. It really is, but it's great stuff.
Well, thanks
That's
for
kind of a gray matter.
Yeah. Well, even as I was asking the question, I was like, this probably isn't even a fair question to ask because there's so many components. But again, I think that's the really exciting part about this opportunity. And I think it gets you or gives you the opportunity to figure out where your strengths are and how you can improve those areas that you don't feel as confident in. And so I think that's a wonderful opportunity as well. I think what I'd like to add for folks that are watching this video later is this internship opportunity falls in line with many of the graduation with leadership distinction categories. So we've got community service, we've got professional and civic engagement, and we have research. Even diversity and social advocacy, I think, could be related to this internship, depending on what the project is or what the volunteer experience is. So this is a wonderful opportunity. And as Elizabeth and Katie have said, the application is due by end of day on March 6th, which is our first day of spring break. So we're going to push this video out as soon as possible to remind people. Is there anything else that you all want to add before we finish up today?
I don't think so.
No, just the only thing I would add, Dr. Easley, is if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Katie. We're happy to answer questions. And we just look forward to reviewing applications. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks so much for sharing all of this great information.